Hey guys, Matt and Scott here from the Old 77. Just wanted to take a moment and say, have you heard about Anchor yet?
It's a great way to do a podcast.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, Anchor's got all of this stuff for you. Get analytics. We're online, everywhere. Apple, Google, and they did all of that for us. We didn't have to submit anything.
Nope. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Right, so no computer, no problem.
Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Warning, foul language may occur due to the subject matter. Hi there, this is the Old 77. It's a safe place in an unsafe world. Oh, sweetheart, can I read this?
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Old 77. It's a safe place.
In an unsafe world. Before we start today's show, we want to thank our Patreon subscriber,
Yes, sir.
Toby. Thank you. You are a subscriber of the show.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks for being associated
Yes,
with us.
Mr. Toby Dean. Thank you, sir.
He gets to listen to all the inside shit.
Yes, he gets. He actually gets this episode about a week early.
Nice.
So yeah, it'll be awesome for him. I'm sure he'll love every bit of it.
Just don't turn it into the police, please.
Tonight we have a special guest.
Yes.
Please welcome JP.
JP's on the show.
Hey, JP.
How's everybody doing tonight?
What's up, man?
We're good, man.
Good. Got
you for
myself
having
a
me.
beer here, cold
Yeah.
beer.
What's everybody
Scott's
drinking,
got a
by the
cold
way?
one going
We're all
on.
drinking. What's everybody drinking?
Ginger ale.
What do you got?
I got the Miller Lite.
The
going
Miller
on.
Lite.
Yeah.
What are you drinking, JP?
Strawberry Bud Light Seltzer.
Hey, man, it's a safe place in
know,
an unsafe
it
world,
is.
bro.
It
I don't
definitely
care
is.
what you drink. I'm drinking a Corona Premium 90 calorie.
Nice.
You know how they make that?
I'm
no.
afraid to know.
They let horses just piss in cans.
Yeah, I totally believe it.
But it's,
And then they water it down because
We were
that
just talk-
shit's gold.
So we were just talking about alcohol, and you drink alcohol based on like the season, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah,
bourbon,
kinda, yeah.
fall, winter, spring, and then summer. It's like gin and tonics, Bud Lights,
Bud Light
seltzers,
seltzer.
Yeah.
Corona. I mean, it's kind of funny how, like in our minds, it's like that flavor that we want at that time of year.
Yeah.
You think we're programmed that way, like by
Yes.
nature?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
advertising.
Who the hell?
That's
Well, that's
exactly
not
what I
by
was gonna
nature.
say.
That's by
That's
other
exactly
humans.
what I
That
was
was
gonna
my
say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Hell yeah, it
if it
is.
wasn't for COVID, like we used to go to get Mexican food on 179.
Yeah, well,
And then get margaritas, sit on the patio. Like,
Yeah.
you get that summer wind.
Great thing about Mexican restaurants, man, they do not skimp on the alcohol at Mexican restaurants.
No.
not the ones around here. They don't.
No, sir. No,
You know, in the
sir.
wintertime, your body hair grows a little longer. Drink
Yeah.
bourbon.
Yeah.
Is that because of the bourbon?
I think so.
This is a year-round
Just
condition.
to,
Yeah.
just to keep yourself warm, you know what I mean?
I think
Hey, look at my back. It's like a rug right now.
That's like the world's worst magazine, Body, Hair, and Bourbon. Or it's the world's best. I mean,
I'm sure if there's
I don't
not
know.
a magazine, there's at least a website
It's
dedicated.
very cringy.
they're
That's
they're
You know,
it's very
this,
likely a website.
This
very
18-year-old
cringe.
bourbon goes great with my armpit hair.
Yeah.
But she's like a French girl and she's smoking.
Oh.
Le Bourbon.
The Americano.
Back Hair and Beaujolais.
Hey, do you have a fake leg?
That's a good band name.
Fake
Back
leg?
Hair. No,
Oh.
back, back Hair and Beaujolais. Did I pronounce that right? Okay.
Yes.
You know, I've got like,
Leave it to the
because I'm a
French.
musician, so I have like a long tab of like possible band names, you know.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's no. It's,
So I'm going to add that one
Thank you.
to my list.
it's even if you're not a musician, if you're not secretly tabulating band names in your head,
Absolutely.
are you really even living?
All right, it's a fun thing to do.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, if you're not stealing band names, are you even living?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a couple band names that I've
John,
lifted from other dudes.
John, what do you
so-
think about this one? Blue Titty Milk.
Jeez.
It'd be a great band name, right?
Right?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in.
What are we playing?
Blue Titty Milk.
What's the genre?
I'm thinking
What's
like
because to me
I love you guys.
a lot of names are genre dependent. What is the genre of Blue Titty Milk?
I'm
I would
thinking
think
it's going to be very smooth, jazzy.
I was going to say blues, man, because we're the Blue Titty Milk. So
This
we got
one goes out to all the ladies.
See, I'm hearing blues in my head.
I don't know. I'm thinking a Blue Oyster cover band, but they've got the theme of the third set of Star Wars prequels.
Sequels.
And it's all played on
Blue
cowbell.
titty milk.
They're all dressed up like Jedis and shit.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking of like Luke specifically taking a swig of that crap and like.
And that's where this came
yeah.
from. Oh yeah.
Did John just get the reference without us even having to
He
give
sure
him?
did.
John, did you figure that out
Nice.
beforehand?
No, I just in situ.
John, you're a man.
You're so intuitive,
It's
man.
that
We were so
ESC,
worried
man.
that no one would get that.
Right away, man. As sharp as a tack. I like this
I don't
guy.
know who you think you're talking to.
I don't either. Apparently, it's like I don't even know you, man.
I still can't get that image out of my head. Of
No,
Luke
no,
just
no.
With his
Just looking at the
blue-green
camera,
shit all
it's
over
just
his face.
blue-green running down his beard, just
Yeah.
no shame.
He needs to.
and the
shave that
alien just
shit.
sits there like, oh yeah, oh get it.
I think that's just like that is how long he has lived alone. You know,
That's his thing.
I've been single
You
for
think
a
he
hot
just-
sec,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't be sad if there aren't some areas in life I have turned feral, maybe just a little bit.
Yeah.
I can still operate within the boundaries of society for the most part. But as a single man of some standing,
We've all been there, man.
Yeah.
I am a little bit feral.
Do you think like Luke,
Enjoy it, brother. That's what I'm
Do you
saying.
think Luke just
I
kind of
do.
like just like chilled out on a bluff across from that alien, just like whacked off and
Oh, the whole time.
oh
he
yeah, look
sta-
at those blue titties.
That alien. That's the worst case of mastitis I've ever seen. in my life.
can get right
Yeah, this is great.
It's by
By myself for like 80 years now.
At that point, without the internet, it's like you're looking at shapes in the rock.
Yeah.
Right.
Clouds.
Oh, that kind of
You're like, no, I can fit my dick in that crack.
yeah.
So at that point, do you force choke yourself just a little bit? Just a little bit.
I never got into that, man.
Right.
I never understood what that was all about.
No, it's I learned from Michael Hutchins. We
Yeah,
don't
that's
go
just
there.
that's the first person I think of, man.
David Carradine, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I always joke around and I
Yeah.
say that's the way I want to
You
go.
know, you can really date a dude if he comes to you and he's like, "Yeah, man," and we talk about that. And he's like, "You're gonna pull a Carradine?
Yeah.
Oh, you're that guy."
Okay, who's Carradine?
David Carradine?
Which one's that?
So he was Kung Fu, the dude who was Kung Fu.
Yeah, he
He
was.
walked the earth.
Yeah, no. And then he was in Kill
And then
Bill.
he was Bill.
He
in
was
Kill
Bill.
oh, that guy.
Yeah, that's David Carradine.
Okay. He went that way.
So
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Allegedly.
I see.
Right.
Allegedly.
It was in Thailand, right?
Yes,
So
it
he
was in Thailand.
He was promoting something in Thailand,
Mhm.
and,
He was-
God knows what happens.
What happens in Thailand?
That's
Yeah,
like the
man.
Vegas of the area. I'm sure.
Yeah, there's some
That's-
crazy shit that goes down in Thailand.
That is the Bermuda Triangle of the area. You know, there is.
You're liable to never
That's-
be
yeah,
found again.
That would
Yeah.
be more like the herpes triangle of the area. I'm thinking.
Yeah,
It
you're
always comes
either.
back.
Yeah, you end up either making like larb, or you're doing heroin, or you are found like 3 years later as a skeleton in Laos as like an object of fetish worship.
Right. Ugh.
Oh man.
Made into a plaster statue that all of worship and adore.
Who
No,
amongst
thank
us?
you. No,
Who
thank
amongst
you.
us?
Put your hand down, Dave.
Oh, sorry, dude. Almost knocking shit over here.
I thought this was a safe
Hit my
space.
mic.
It is a safe space.
Okay, it's a safe space.
It's. Damn it! I am shamed on my own show.
Show's over, folks.
Oh
But how about that explosion
Holy shit!
this week?
no! The Beirut explosion.
The
Yeah.
Beirut
The Beirut-
explosion.
good.
That was
Glad
the
you specified.
smoothest. I'm with you, man.
That shit was so intense.
That thing was a big one.
And then there's that montage online where it's
Yeah.
like just the different like views of
Oh, the multiple angles.
the multiple angles of the explosion. We were talking about this earlier.
Dude, you just
and
gotta butt
It's
in
like
here.
it's just like the perfect storm for this explosion, right?
Right.
Yeah, I was just thinking when I think of montage now, I think of the Team America song.
Fuck
Gotta
yeah.
have a fucking
That's
montage.
Yeah, it's a montage. That's a total aside. No, because thank you for the explosions, Matt. Because
Those were amazing.
that's not quite what it sounded like because it was just one big one.
Well, no, there were some small ones beforehand, right?
Well, those were the fireworks that allegedly set this thing off.
Right.
right.
So do we?
Allegedly.
So how solid
Those
is this
fireworks
story?
were-
Do you think? Like, do you think that they're telling the truth?
95% solid.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Man, I'm just happy it wasn't an active war, because when I first saw that thing, I
Well,
thought, holy shit, here we go. Yeah,
I think that's what everybody was worried about.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
and given the history of Lebanon, what's
Yeah,
going on
right.
in Syria,
That
what's
part of
going
the
on
world.
in Turkey, what's going on in Iraq.
So I just
Yeah.
read a
All the
story
neighboring
about
countries.
I just
Sure.
read a story about where somebody had counted up like backpack nukes in Russia, and they were missing like a handful of them too.
oh, that makes me feel
Like
good.
how
But
you-
like nuclear weapons just seem to disappear in Russia.
Well, no, and that was literally the worst case scenario of the dissolution of the Soviet Union
Right.
was the distribution of
the nukes.
nukes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still nukes and silos over there, right?
Absolutely,
There would
there
have
are.
to be,
right?
You've got them in a lot of the Central Asian republics.
That's right.
Your Tajikistan, your Uzbekistan,
All the
Kazakhstan,
stands, pretty much.
all the stands.
Yeah.
So when the Soviet Union broke up, did they like stop keeping tabs on all the nukes? How did that work? How did that happen?
There was a massive decentralization of everything within the Soviet Union. Now there is still an oversight at this point by Russia of a lot of the, at this point, let's call them SSRs,
Pretty much, yeah.
because they're officially the CIS, the Commonwealth of Independent States.
right.
So there is some basic oversight by Moscow, but there's the question of Moscow's interests in whether or not these things are going to continue to be well contained, or let's say not well contained.
Yeah, I mean, all it takes is one.
Right.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
And that's all that's the fear too, is all it takes is one backpack nuke.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then from there, man, chain reaction.
Yeah, and the thing about a backpack nuke is it's got so much of less of a yield
Right.
than your larger, more conventional nuclear weapons.
Well, and I even hate to say this, but if one was to go off, that's what you would want to go off because there would be less radiation for it. However,
It's a
it's small enough you can get it to where more people will be.
and it's a tool of destabilization.
Right.
It's not necessarily a tool of destruction.
Right.
It's absolutely terrorism.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's the Beirut or Irish car bomb gone, you
Right.
know, literally nuclear.
Yeah. Yeah. Could you imagine that with the IRA back in the day?
Oh my
if
God.
they had
That'd
something
be-
like that, you wouldn't even know of any of. Well, the country would be gone pretty much.
Yeah, we would have even less of a sense of what the United Kingdom actually is at this point than we do right now.
Right.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Not even with Brexit, but just with the individual independence movements within the countries that make up the UK.
Right. Absolutely.
And that was some movement back then too. I mean, we were alive for that.
Yeah.
We're talking like
yeah.
late
yeah,
70s,
everyone in
early
this-
80s. Like
Everyone in this room.
it went through the 90s.
And the way that it was viewed through the American media landscape versus the, greater British and Irish media landscape
Sure.
is fascinating,
Yeah.
depending on what kind of news source you're looking at. The ripple effects that came out afterwards once the armistice was declared and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
it's,
What year was it when they formed peace?
let's see, Senator George Mitchell would have been in charge of that. And I want to say it was the early 90s, maybe
Early
92.
90s? Okay. So is there some kind of organization still alive in the UK?
Well, like Sinn Féin still operates as a party within the Irish political system. And that, Jerry Adams, leader of Sinn Féin,
Sure.
was the former prime minister of Ireland, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and was a member of the IRA back in the day. And that was one of the kind of objections of him joining the larger government of the United Kingdom.
How about that?
But yeah, I believe Sinn Féin is still active.
Right. As a group.
Yeah, as a formal
They're a
political party instead
political,
of
yeah.
a revolutionary faction.
Well, that's pretty much what all those revolutionaries rolled into was political, right?
Well, and you
If
see
they're
it
still around.
Yeah, and you see it in a lot of countries that aren't necessarily the United States.
Right. True.
The ANC in South Africa went from a rebel party led by a convict to the ruling party of South Africa.
The rule. Yeah.
Right.
Just goes to show you how quickly things can change, man.
I mean, look
Absolutely.
at the Nazis back in the
Well,
1930s.
Right.
Yeah, no, that was an incredible insurgency.
And it took the
That-
right perfect storm of bad
Yes.
economy. Everything was built on United States loans. When we went into the Great Depression,
Well, when we went
that
into
was
it,
it.
we took the world with us.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's where
Street
they
did,
blamed.
yeah.
Then they just blamed everything on the Jews and
Well,
other nationalities.
Well, and and a lot of that is an incredibly weird subject that you would have to take a long view through the odd history of, frankly, Christianity in Western Europe
I agree with that.
and how it interacts with groups that were actually there previously to them coming in from Rome and Italy. It's we would have to do several special episodes, I believe, on this.
Damn, you got us deep, dude.
Woo!
That's,
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of Ireland, we do have a listener in
Oh,
Ireland.
we do have a listener. Yes, we have a listener in Dublin.
In Dublin.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Sweet.
So thank you to whoever is listening in
If you're-
Dublin.
If you're still listening to us, thank you very
thank
much.
you.
more power to you.
And we have a
appreciate it.
listener in New Zealand as well, in Auckland, New Zealand. Believe it or not.
Is that your buddy?
Yeah, that's my buddy.
I've been
so
li-
it's a kid
oh,
I
nice.
went. It's a kid I went to school with.
I've been listening to his podcasts.
Yeah, so he has a podcast, The Paranormal Sun. Check them out.
I listened to the 2 episodes about reincarnation.
Ooh, nice.
And
those were good.
We
Those were
talked
good.
about that a little bit on
Yeah.
those couple episodes we did, but yeah, man, it's a good podcast. I've subscribed to it.
Yeah, it's a good
So,
one.
right up my alley.
Paranormal SUN or SON?
SON, The Paranormal Sun.
SON, yeah. Are you into that kind of stuff, John?
I'm very interested in a lot of different topics, and that is definitely one of them.
It's a
So
very
we had
interesting
we had a
topic.
really good topic a while back about aliens and UFOs. What's your stance on those?
Especially with recent news events in that vein.
I do believe that life exists outside of what we know.
I agree.
I agree too.
Yeah.
No
You know,
doubt.
Man,
There
it's
are-
arrogant to think that we're alone.
Right.
No, exactly. But what you keep running into is the Fermi paradox.
Yeah. I'm
You know,
familiar
why
with-
hasn't anybody made
Well,
contact with us
right.
yet?
Right.
because
Because
they're
you can
either dead or we're the first.
Because of the
Or
well,
they're
the
too
distance.
smart to contact us.
That's another.
It could be that, but it could just be the physical distance. Takes a shit long amount of
But-
time for radio waves and things like that.
And we are starting to see radio waves coming from
Right.
places closer to us in the universe.
Yeah.
I just saw a story the other day, like last week, maybe something where they had just found something. It was the loudest sound in the universe, and they have no idea what caused it.
Interesting. Send me the link to that, dude.
Yeah.
That's very
Or
interesting.
they just found a set of stars that are based on phosphorus.
Yes.
Dead stars that are based on phosphorus more than any
They-
other element,
Yeah, they've not seen that before.
which was completely uncommon. Yeah.
Wow. Isn't that it's just incredible.
And that's one of the basic building blocks of life.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so have you seen the recent articles like in the New York Times?
Yeah.
The declassified
Yeah.
fighter videos. What do you make of those? What do you think the most likely explanation is for those craft?
I've got no absolute idea. I want them to be aliens.
Yeah,
Me too, so
absolutely.
that they're
Yes.
not
Yes.
Russian or
Yeah,
anywhere else.
and I do think that military technology, the major powers, is far beyond what we know.
Yeah.
But I think part of the corollary of that is that where did they get the
Right,
technology
comes
from?
from aliens.
Because we have blown Moore's law out of the water.
Yeah, right. It's our exponential growth of technology has just exploded, and we were talking about that on a previous podcast. That technology explosion was preceded by Roswell. Like it seemed
Yep.
like that
Yeah, it
shit
seemed
all.
like right within that time frame.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I mean, this new New York Times, the most recent New York Times article. You know, there are people quoted in that article as saying that they have recovered, pieces of craft that
Right.
were beyond this earth. I think is the quote that
They were beyond our technology.
Yeah.
And we're using them right now
Yes.
in order to generate new kinds of technologies,
See-
especially for the military.
If that's the case, then we've tried to reverse engineer everything we can get our hands on.
If you look back at
As we
100
should.
If you look
As
back,
we should.
If you look back 100 years, it is so primitive compared to what we have now. There has to be something to that.
It's unrecognizable.
With the exception of Matt, because Matt comes from a giant urban area. Your guys' grandfather probably had a horse and a buggy.
Yeah.
You know?
Literally a horse farm in north central Iowa.
I think my
Right.
grandpa did. Yeah.
Well, you guys came from Portugal, though, so
Some of the family did.
I mean, maybe.
It's not like they were all Portuguese.
No, I know that. The Portuguese Francis's, yes.
Yeah.
The Portuguese shines out when I get a good tan.
Well, it's Portuguese, so they spell it Francis with an S instead of a Z.
Yeah, well, actually,
Like the Spaniard.
I think
No,
the
it's
name,
Francis with an F.
the name was originally Francisco.
Shortened it up.
I think that's what my uncle said.
So here's
for
the
real.
Yeah.
Here's
Was
the
that
other
an Ellis Island short?
I think it
Yeah.
was.
Here's the other scenario
That's
going back to the UFO videos.
That's cool.
The other scenario is that these are military craft,
Yeah.
Yes.
and that the military or the government would like for us to think that they are alien craft, but in reality, they actually belong to us.
Yeah.
That could be happening too.
Yeah, I can
In
totally see
that
that.
video,
Completely.
though,
Yeah.
that Pentagon video,
Yeah.
the pilots sound so surprised on how the movements are of the craft.
Right.
But
It's like they're like, oh my god, like what is this?
But it's
shit?
not like they're telling pilots. It's not like the pilots are privy to the information that they belong
No,
to
what I'm
us.
saying is the way they kind of reacted to what they were seeing was this is unknown stuff to us.
Yeah. That's why it's a very strong case that it's not ours.
But then again, unless they came from planets that had very similar physics to ours, their stuff wouldn't necessarily perform in the way that it would in our atmosphere with our gravity.
Right.
Man, I think they've got all that shit figured out a million years ago.
Which I think
so,
fits
too.
in again to the Fermi paradox.
Yeah.
That maybe this is a violation thereof.
Mhm.
That this is one of these smarter civilizations trying to get in touch with us.
Mm-hmm.
At least coming in, taking a look,
Seeing
figuring out
what's
whether
up.
or not they. Yeah, exactly. This is the old Facebook post.
Right.
Well, if
This
this
is-
Right.
yeah.
Hey,
The space poke. Here's space poke.
I'm just
Yeah,
gonna poke
exactly.
around, look around over here.
Yeah.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
we're going to decide, whether or not you're cool enough to hang out with.
And if they went down and looked at our libraries and saw our history, they'd be like, well, these guys are fucking aggressive.
See,
They're
they-
good.
that's just it. They don't have to.
No,
This planet has not been silent at all since the 1920s. We've been pumping radio waves and
Right.
television waves.
Correct.
They're seeing everything
Correct.
that we have. The movie Galaxy
That's
Quest
true.
is literally going to happen one
Yeah.
day. Just
Yeah.
some hot alien's going to show up. I'll probably make out with her, and then we'll, save the galaxy.
Hey, Scott, how was that alien?
Man, if any year is a good candidate for that to come out, 2020.
That blue titty milk was great.
call back.
Dude, we got to do it on the callback. So, call or text the old 77 listener line at 572
573.
573-246-0779.
Or email us at theold77podcast@gmail.com.
Or you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Patreon,
Patreon.
iHeartRadio now.
iHeartRadio now. We are on
Yeah.
Pandora.
That's right.
We are also, we're on a slew of things.
I get these guys
We are
on
everywhere.
Spotify.
Right, you can literally find us wherever
Spotify,
you
correct.
get your podcast.
That's where I follow us at, is
Right.
Spotify. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll take a
Anywhere.
break. We're going to come back for segment 2 with JP, Dave, we got Matt and me next.
Your memories. Pregnancy, kids growing up, family, senior year of high school, getting engaged. You want to keep those moments forever. But the problem with most photographers is they decide which moments you keep. They'll sell you a single picture or a big all-inclusive package that might include photos you don't want at a cost that's outside of your budget. That's why I don't. You decide. A single photo, a single hour, you choose. You get all of your edited photos, everything, at Andrew Marie Photography. You get quality photos at prices you can afford. After all, they're your memories. Find us on Facebook, Andrew Marie Photography and Custom Design.
Hey, welcome back to the Old 77. We are a safe place.
In an unsafe world.
And again, thank you to Toby Dean, our one and only sponsor on Patreon. Toby is on the $20 a month plan on Patreon. We have, 4 different plans on
Yes.
Patreon. We have a $5 plan, a $10 plan, a $20 plan, thank you, Toby, and a $50 plan. That's for your business, if you'd like.
Comes with this
It
sponsorship.
comes with a 30-second commercial that will air. Me and you will work with it together, and we'll make a 30-second commercial that will air during the entire length of your sponsorship.
And let me tell you guys, these guys make great commercials.
So it's funny. I went out.
We do.
I went out and I was talking with people, and we printed out some posters. And I went out and I salted posters all over JC because we're trying to do local JC stuff, talking to local people in Jefferson City, trying to get our name out.
Yeah.
So I went down to Jay Finney's, and the guys they must have just been talking about podcasts, because when I walked in and they saw my poster, they were like, dude. And one of the guys at the bar immediately started questioning me. He's like, do you have any experience with this? And I was like, yeah, I got a little bit. I was like, I've been in broadcasting for about 20 years now. And I was like, and my partner doing it with me, he's been in broadcasting for about 20 years now. So it's like, oh, so I can't just grab a mic and plug it in and do it?
Well,
I was
you
like,
can.
No, you can.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You can, but it's going to sound like shit.
I mean,
maybe. Don't know unless you try.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to do and that's what you're okay with and you can do that, then heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Go for it.
You don't have to sound polished, really. That's the beauty of podcasts.
That is the beauty of podcast.
You can edit it and polish it as little or as much as you
as long
desire.
as you have content, you have anything that anyone wants to talk
But
about.
sometimes you can't polish a turd.
Right. People are so used to, like,
That's the
6-second
broadcasting
videos. People are starving for, like, long form conversations these
Right.
days. So
And I hate to say it because I'm in the audio industry, but I feel like audio as a whole is like on the decline a little. Maybe just a touch. People want audio and video now.
Yeah.
The whole package.
Right.
Yeah.
They want it all. They want to
Kinda
see
like-
it and hear it.
Kind of like how Rogan has it.
Yeah.
we'll try to hook you all up with that at some point.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point,
It's
maybe.
just
I don't-
what?
Keep in mind, we all have faces for radio. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Speak
and
for
all,
yourself.
And all. You are a handsome bastard, you.
So my wife thinks so.
I mean, no homo or anything.
and there's nothing wrong with that.
It's a safe place.
Pause.
Everything has to come with a disclaimer these days, doesn't it?
I feel like that goes way back to kindergarten.
Goes
like
back to
on the
Seinfeld.
playground, It's like, hey, man, those jorts you're wearing, those are pretty hot, man. Fit your ass really tight. I mean, no homo or anything.
See, I didn't hear no homo until I was like in my 20s at least.
Really?
Yeah.
You're so young. Damn you, youngin'.
Well, either that or I'm just fucking ignorant to it. I just probably had been around forever and I just never heard it.
We did it in the 3rd, 4th grade.
I started seeing it like on internet forums.
Now you say like hashtag no homo.
Well, now it's become a thing.
Yeah.
now it's a hashtag.
It went viral.
You know what I hate, man, is when people talk like in hashtags.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I get it.
so annoying.
Like it's like my day was great. Hashtag the sun was shining. Hashtag I had my pants down.
That's
It's like why don't you just tell us what you did instead of hashtagging
Yes.
everything?
Hashtag fried an egg.
It doesn't make any damn sense to me.
People like to get funny with their hashtags, man.
Okay, here's.
But why?
I don't know. It's a thing,
You
man.
ever ran across
Is it a
somebody
thing?
who
It's a
hashtags
thing.
in
I
real
think it's
life?
dumb.
It's stupid.
Hashtag IRL. So
Yes.
they'll be like, so guys,
Hashtag
so the
yes.
other day I was talking
Hashtag Sundays.
hashtag bathroom break. What?
Tonight, great podcast. Hashtag
Sucks.
the old 77.
yeah, no, it's
Hashtag shameless plug.
why would you do that to yourself?
It's a whole different breed of man now, JP.
Yeah, it's
Tell
have some
us.
respect for yourself. And don't hashtag everything that's happening in your life.
Tell us, please.
You don't absolutely have to say
Hashtag preach it.
One of my favorite
don't record
things.
it.
Right? Yeah, right.
Right.
Savor it for yourself and your loved ones if you're lucky enough to be around them at this point in time
Yeah.
as a nice memory
I'm so
that you'll
thankful.
eventually forget as you grow old. You'll be struggling to get that when you're like in your 80s.
Just yeah. You just hashtag want to get back there.
Hashtag.
Do you think there's like a generation of
Better
people?
times.
There's a generation of people now that like when they get old and they die, that they're gonna have like hashtags on their fucking grave.
I
on their
hope
gravestones.
not.
Yeah.
If they
Like
can put,
here's
That's the equivalent of the old English dude putting "I told you so."
Yeah.
I told you I was.
Here's
sick.
John Smith. Be like,
Hashtag.
hashtag had a great life.
YOLO.
I hope that.
Right.
is not
I
a
hope
thing.
that's the case.
YOLO.
Hashtag kiss my ass world.
You only live once.
Bury me
Then a
face
middle
down so
finger.
everyone can kiss my ass.
Right.
Guy has.
But, you know, if you can put gifts on tombstones, either today or within the very near future.
That's right.
People will definitely be putting hashtags on tombstones
So is that
if they
something
have
you-
not already.
Is it a one and done, or do you update
forever.
it, or
I think that depends, you know, I
link it
mean,
to your smartphone?
where we're at in terms of technology.
How does it work? Is it like solar powered? How do they do this?
I would
shit?
assume so.
It has to be.
Yeah.
It has to
And
be.
it's, you know, just a basic chip that kind of loops everything through.
Unless you're that big ballin' dude who has your grave hooked up with power.
Yeah, well, you know,
Or
you
your
gotta-
graveyard has Wi-Fi, which I think should be a requirement.
Oh, I think so too.
Well, then that opens up a whole. So then we got hologram technologies. When you walk up to the grave and there's a hologram of you that you can have a
That would be
pre-recorded
cool as
conversation
shit.
with.
That's
Oh, well, they
that's
know it's
definitely going to
Memorial
happen.
Day.
They already had a whole. They
If
already
there
had a.
isn't Wi-Fi
Right.
in this graveyard.
This goddamn piece of shit graveyard I'm in.
They already had a hologram of Tupac on stage.
I know, I saw that.
that's
That's
right.
been a while ago
That's
too.
That was a long
ridiculous.
time ago.
If they can hologram Pac and they can hologram Freddie Mercury,
Then they can
Oh my
hologram.
God,
they
that would
can
be
hologram
awesome,
just
dude.
about anything.
Then they can hologram my
Love of
Nana.
my life.
Yes. Yes. Scott, your Nana headlining Coachella.
She'll be up on stage with Tupac.
She's grinding up on Tupac like.
Scott's grandma.
Ain't got no teeth. She's about
Featuring
4'8".
The Weeknd.
Right.
I love you, Tupac.
Make it
They're
happen.
singing songs
Dude,
about
they can-
doing lines. That's right. Oh,
can-
Nana.
They can
Nana,
have
no.
They can hologram.
Glass table grandma.
They can hologram Michael Jackson now, man. Right.
Yeah. No, it's,
After that documentary, I do
my
not
glove.
want them to hologram that dude.
Oh, why would you after that thing?
You see that documentary, John?
Oh.
We talked about it on the air before.
It ruins
no,
me.
Michael Jackson is definitely one of those cases of the artist versus the art.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So can you
Yeah.
separate the
Good-
two? Is that
good
easy for
point.
you to do?
Are you a U2 fan? I feel like we need to ask that
I am
first.
not a U2 fan.
Welcome to the club, brother.
I am not either.
Dude, we all four
I
agree on that.
appreciated Edge more after that documentary that he did with Jack White and Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that. That was
Thank
a good
you.
documentary for sure.
I was
That
just
being
gonna
said,
say.
I'll give him that.
My
give the
dad
Edge
has
his
met
props.
Bono, and the main thing that impressed my dad
Really?
about Bono was not his work on the international stage, but it was that he was taller than Bono.
Yeah.
And my dad's about 5'8".
How did your dad meet Bono?
He's
Yeah.
that short?
Journalism.
Okay,
Wow, that's
cool.
That's wicked.
Gotcha.
Dude.
I didn't know Bono was that short, man.
Oh no, Bono's as they say in Old Sod, he's a wee lad.
Yeah, he's a wee lad.
I see.
I've heard that a couple of times. He's a wee lad.
Well, you know, it's funny
Oh, he's
because
a wee lad.
U2 is such like a huge band, but like I don't really know anybody that like that gets excited about U2,
I do.
man.
I do.
I do.
Okay, all right.
I do,
And it's
unfortunately.
weird. The fervency is weird.
It's like cult-like kind of.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's almost like if you remember, like the Grateful Dead. You remember how people would just mindlessly
Oh my God,
follow
yeah.
them?
Yeah, dude.
I
That's
feel like
another
that's the
one.
same.
I also cannot stand the Grateful
You
Dead.
know, I'm not a huge fan either. I don't get.
I'm not
I
a
don't
huge
get
Dead
it.
fan.
Touch of
No.
Grey is a great song.
That's the only song that they had.
Uncle
that
John's
actually,
Band's a pretty good one.
Uncle
great
John's
song.
Band is
That's a
also
good
good.
song, too.
What about Casey Jones driving the train high on cocaine? Yeah.
That's a good one.
Better watch your speed.
But Touch of Grey was the only Grateful Dead song that ever made it to the top 10.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they just had a
And
huge
rightfully
concert.
so.
They had a
I
huge
feel like
concert
you're
following.
super fucking high to watch.
But
them
also,
guys.
like that's the same people that are like listening to Fish, man. Like I just never really got
I
into Fish.
don't understand Fish. I don't
Like, when I lived in
understand Widespread
Vermont-
Panic.
yet another band.
When I lived in
Yeah,
Vermont,
yeah.
everyone was a Fish fan. I'm like,
So-
what the fuck
rock.
is Fish?
So I've seen Fish 3 times.
And one of the dudes from Fish is from Burlington or something.
Yeah, that's
Really?
Trey Anastasio.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
they're all from Vermont. They all went to
Yeah.
college there.
Yeah, they're.
I mean,
right
they're
around
all-
They were all U of V.
So here's the thing
They're
about
They're all
Fish.
talented guys.
Yeah.
They're all talented.
Oh, of course.
Here's the thing about
I
Fish,
just didn't know
dude.
who the hell they were.
So the guys in Fish are incredible musicians. You guys know I'm a musician, so the musicianship is what I like about them. But dude, like their actual like songwriting skills and like their lyrics are usually pretty whack. Like when I listen to Fish, it's more for like jams because I'm a
Yeah,
guitarist
yeah.
and Trey Anastasio is a fucking great guitarist.
Right. He is a good guitarist.
And they're a jam band, right?
Oh, for sure.
oh my
yeah.
god. Yeah.
I had the misfortune of getting Golgi apparatus
Yeah.
in my
hearing that
head
song?
years ago.
Yeah.
and it is not left since.
I was just saying it.
And
Yeah.
that is one of those ultimate examples of these guys are great musicians.
Yeah.
But the songwriting is ass.
Yeah. Well, that's why some of their best songs are instrumentals, like "You Enjoy Myself."
Yeah.
That's a
not
great
bad.
song. Yeah. Completely instrumental.
Not bad.
Yeah.
But
Very funky, very jazzy.
not when I'm queuing up immediately.
Yeah, no, I get it, dude. I get why people don't like Fish. And like,
Yeah.
I used to really like them. Now I'm just like, I got to be in the right
Like
mood.
how
And I feel
much
the
like
same.
them? How much like them?
Dude,
Like,
I used to really like them a lot. Dude.
like grab your guitar, head on out the door and follow them around.
I would have if I could have.
yeah.
But, you know, I would have followed the Grateful Dead if I could have, but I just wasn't old enough.
Why would you have done that though? I just trying to get in the headspace. Why
you know,
would you
dude,
have done that?
just because, like, because I'm basically like a hippie at heart,
yeah.
and so like,
Shit, man, we call you Big Perm because of the hair.
Yeah, I just though when I see those people, I feel like, okay, these are my people. Like, I feel completely comfortable around hippies.
Yeah.
Oh, well, JP. So okay, it was what, last year or so. We were all at a concert. And they were all playing, and Dave was playing, and the entire crowd was chanting, "Go Big Perm, go Big Perm."
Yeah, that was fun.
That
man.
was a good time.
Me and Matt were just talking off
was
air.
a
I
good
was
time.
sad that we couldn't do that again this year.
Yeah, that would have been a good show.
Another band who has a huge following, and I am guilty for seeing them 3 times in one summer.
Oh.
Dave Matthews Band.
Me too.
I've seen them multiple
They
times.
their show is incredible.
Yes,
dude.
it is,
Like,
dude.
It's a good.
I've seen him
show.
like 11 times.
He is an amazing musician, and his band is just phenomenal.
Yeah, dude. Carter Beauford, the
I'm
drummer.
feeling a sense of difference in opinion.
Let's hear it, John. What do you got to say?
So what do you
about
got to
him?
say?
I have seen them either 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And it's one of those experiences that, like, for me, strictly for me, it has diminished as the years have gone on.
You appreciate it less.
I appreciate it so much less.
Yeah.
Like, I saw Maceo Parker open for them before one of the shows, and I appreciate that now more than I did the Dave show itself. I saw Michelle Indegiacello open for them. I appreciate that a lot more than I appreciate the show itself. And it might be kind of me picking up some, like, cultural detritus.
Yeah, because they are made fun of a lot these days. Yeah, for sure.
And I think to a certain extent, everybody's faves deserve some shit.
It's almost like it's like
Absolutely.
Nickelback. You know, everybody makes fun of
Yes.
Nickelback now too.
Everybody
you know?
needs to make fun of
This is
Nickelback.
how you
they should.
remind me.
I really
fucking
love the
awful.
new Taylor Swift album.
Haven't listened
But
to
people
it.
give Taylor Swift shit all the time.
So I listened to some of that
Because
with
she
my-
Thought I knew
deserves it.
you, man.
Yeah. Look
so
at
I listened
shot.
to some of that with my wife because
Yeah.
our daughter loves Taylor Swift.
yeah,
see.
That's just one
And
gal
it's
I
a
can't
different
handle.
it's a different style.
that's what I liked about it. And like,
Isn't it
I
like
don't-
folky? I heard it was
Yeah.
folky.
Yeah, it's very
and I'm
folky,
somebody
yeah.
that I don't actively listen to the National, Bon Iver, or anything
Right.
that Jack
Right.
Adanoff does.
Right.
But I really enjoyed the album.
Well, I'll have to give it a spin, dude. I'll give anything a try once.
Yeah, and I thought it was a good collective effort by all of them.
She's a good songwriter, dude. I'll give her
She's a-
that.
She is a
Excellent
good songwriter. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she
And-
plays the same type of guitar that I play, and so it's a Taylor guitar, a really nice acoustic
Yeah.
guitar.
Imagine that.
And so I used to get these little
That's
magazines.
built-in sponsor. Fuck, that's built-in sponsorship.
Yeah, please,
Damn.
man, please.
That girl's been doing it.
Send me a guitar. Please.
No, I'm talking Taylor Swift, Taylor guitars.
Right, exactly.
Not
yeah.
not Dave Jordan. Taylor.
So, I knew
Dave
about
Jordan,
Taylor
Taylor
Swift.
guitar.
I knew about Taylor
Dave
Swift
Jordan
like
brand.
before
Right.
she was ever
Fuck yeah.
famous. Like she was in all the Taylor magazines and stuff. That was how I learned about her. And then she exploded.
So I was working in commercial radio at the time, and I got all of her demos like 2000, 2001, and I'm just like, who the fuck is this chick?
Not a fan.
And they were terrible. They were just god awful. And I got like maybe 7 or 8, and then all of a sudden I got this one called Tim McGraw, and I'm like, what the?
It's a good song.
Is this chick really this desperate? And then I'll be damned if it didn't get picked up, and now here we are.
Was that like her first big
That was
hit?
her
Yes.
first hit. It got her on the charts.
The
and
name of
she-
the song was Tim
The
McGraw.
name of the song was Tim McGraw. It
Okay.
was basically a love ballad saying that, you know, we don't have a song. So whenever I hear Tim McGraw, like I get, you know, Christian horny for you.
Interesting, nice synopsis.
You know, I just
man.
want to like grind up against a post, but not your leg.
She was
But
more.
now she's 30 and she says fuck.
Right. Well, she's had the sex a couple times.
Congratulations.
She got away from that Disney deal. I mean,
It's
last
What?
week, while my parents were in town, I turned on the Sinatra documentary on Netflix.
Well, that's another one.
It's 2 parts.
Yeah. I watched that. I think that was originally on HBO, I think.
Yeah.
Isn't it called like All or None or like All or Nothing or
Something
some shit like
yes,
that?
yes. He was an icon, dude, of his time.
Yeah.
And what an interesting life
He won an
led.
Oscar. Did you know that?
Yes.
Yeah.
For what was it? What was the
It wasn't Ocean's.
it was a World War II movie. World War II.
It was a
movie.
World War II movie. Yeah.
We're going to Google that shit right now.
From Here to Eternity.
Yes.
Here to Eternity.
That's what it is.
I want to see that movie. I've never seen it.
Me neither.
My dad has
He
the
was
book.
so talented.
Yeah,
man.
I remember that was a book.
Interesting his connections to the mob and all of that.
He was
Oh,
all-
Sam
yeah.
Giancana.
Say that again.
Sam Giancana.
Is that one of the mob guys he was
He
in?
was the
with?
Chicago boss.
It was.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, that's
that
right. I
was
remember that
a
name.
very close friend of Frank. And yeah, no, just a fascinating figure though. Like all the way from his mob connections to civil rights, from being a crooner to what he grew into as like a singer of standards.
One of the first white guys or white people that actually come out like celebrities to join forces with civil rights leaders.
And you get like Marilyn Monroe and Billie Holiday, but like to the degree that Frank did it, you know, getting Sammy Davis Jr. into Vegas.
That's right.
Yeah,
and
he pretty
his
much
work
made
with
Sammy.
Kennedy.
Yeah.
And
When Sammy lost his eye, Frank took him in under his wing and basically like pumped him up, pumped his spirit up. And then Sammy like got back. He made this huge comeback. And it was all because of Frank. Like he did a lot for
All I can
his
see
friends.
is Phil Hartman in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing over there?
Yeah,
He played the old Sinatra.
I missed that guy, man. Phil Hartman. He was so good.
But he was
Phil was.
Phil was spot on with it.
So
I was a huge fan of News Radio.
Oh,
Yeah.
News Radio
And
got so many
it was
things right.
Not the same after after Hartman died and Lovitz
Right.
came on.
right.
But now at this point, not to throw shade at any other podcast, but I don't necessarily see Joe Rogan as anything but
what he does.
his character on News Radio.
Oh yeah,
Because I
yeah.
cannot listen to the podcast because I don't need to hear about DMT again.
Yeah, he was that.
But he
dude,
talks
wasn't
about his experience doing
hey,
that.
guys.
Yeah.
He says he hated acting. Like he didn't like putting up with.
A lot of people hated that show too. In retrospect, I
Right.
mean,
Right.
Dave Foley
It
was
wasn't
not a
as
fan.
popular as what I thought it was.
No, like because I was that dork that was already in radio by that point.
I was just thinking about it.
And NBC comedy in the 1990s,
Must see
not a
TV.
Friends guy,
Yeah.
but
I was a Seinfeld guy though.
Yeah, me
Frasier,
too.
Seinfeld,
Yeah, Frasier was
News
great, too.
Radio.
I agree.
I still watch Frasier, man.
I
What
never
was-
watched News Radio.
What
Never
was
did
the one that
watch it.
came on after News Radio? And I can't
It's on
remember.
Hulu
It
right
had,
now,
it
Frasier
had,
and Seinfeld.
Michael J. Fox in it.
Spin City.
Spin
Yeah,
City.
Oh yeah,
that
Spin
show.
City. That's
That was
right.
Later
good
followed
one.
up after he left the show by
It was,
Charlie Sheen.
yeah, Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen the episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm with Michael J. Fox in it?
Oh yes, yeah.
Well,
So,
I mean,
so
speaking of
Brilliant.
geniuses,
Larry
Right.
David.
Love Larry David. Oh, I love
Yeah.
Larry David. I'm actually a much bigger Curb fan than I am Seinfeld fan. I still
Same
love
here.
Seinfeld, but
Same
I like
here.
Curb more.
same here.
But I will say this: the last season of Curb,
Oh God, I went hot.
I wasn't too excited.
I
About
feel like
that.
Larry was more
Got
of an asshole.
excited by Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm sorry.
I feel like he was more of an
You
asshole.
have
than
gone
ever.
feral, my friend.
You feel like he was more
Like Larry was more of an asshole than ever
What,
in
I
the
said-
show. Like we knew he was an asshole before,
right.
but I feel like he just came on thick with the assholeness.
This last season, you mean?
He's got to be an asshole.
I mean,
right?
like the first episode, he pushed someone's like bike down the sidewalk or something. He
Well,
it was in his way, and he
The Spite Store.
the Spite store, yeah.
Latte Larry's.
Like everyone had a Spite store, dude.
I will say that Seinfeld is almost improved if you imagine George Costanza as Larry David.
Yeah, I've done that. I've done that.
That's basically who he was.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Costanza was Larry David.
yeah.
Very interesting because I actually
It's
was.
just funny to hear that said out loud.
Costanza.
I was a Curb fan before I was a
Costanza.
Seinfeld fan.
It just kind of rolls off the tongue.
By Menon.
Yeah.
Costanza.
I can't help not watch. I mean, I love that show so much.
It's a comfort show for me, man. Like it reminds me of that time
I can
period.
cook dinner. I put it. I'll go to Hulu. I'll put it on. I'll cook dinner, And if I miss something, I already know what happened.
Exactly.
But like I can catch it and be like, oh yeah, this part.
Yeah. You don't have to focus on.
By the way, guys, that meal we ate later, I prepared that in the shower.
Oh, yeah. Germs.
Well, and that's one of the great things about the show too is you get all those storylines.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, wait, that was in that episode with that storyline.
And none of it makes sense.
Right. But on top of that, your C storyline is better than what how many other people are putting out at that point.
No kidding.
Yeah, the A storyline that was supposed to be what was its competitors at the time?
Nothing.
It was killing
LA Law.
It was killing everything else.
That was another NBC show though.
Right. Yeah, so they wouldn't have been competitors.
Dude, NBC had they just had a line of just
killers,
just juggernauts, man.
Dude, they were banging.
Did you guys watch Friends back in the day?
No.
We just talked about that. No.
See, I was always told that friends tell friends not to watch Friends.
I don't watch Friends now.
I had a girlfriend that watched
references.
it, dude. I get tired of that shit.
It's not bad. It's not a bad show.
I knew a chick back in the
I don't
day.
think
She was a Wiccan, and she was like totally crazy. She'd like cast spells and shit, right?
Wow.
And the weird thing was, she dated my buddy, and God, I can't believe I'm going to say this story. So the weird thing was, is her boobs pointed in, and we always thought that was strange.
Were they fake?
We always thought she was witching for water.
But
Anyway, but this chick, so I don't even know where I was going with this. Anyway, so she would like cast spells and shit, and then roll on. And she cast a spell on Friends for them to break up.
Okay.
And then, like 6 years later, they broke up.
She's like, see,
so she was like not a good Wiccan at all. Right. I'm not a wizard, Harry.
No.
As far as Harry goes, Harry Potter movies are amazing.
Are we going to jump into Harry Potter now? Damn, we are all over.
And look, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and a lot of people are going to hate me for saying this.
Now you got my attention.
But Harry Potter, the franchise of Harry Potter, is right up there, maybe even better than Star Wars.
Nope.
I have no opinion.
And I'm a Star Wars fan. Trust me, I'm a Star Wars.
I know you are, Matt.
I just hear the like.
But I love Harry Potter, dude. I think it's just a great franchise. It's solid. Every movie is solid.
I don't know how.
No, but the thing is, now that I'm like reflecting on what I'm liking about Star Wars, it's like the original trilogy,
right?
Rogue One, and then there's a lot of stuff that I just watched because it was Star Wars.
Mandalorian?
Correct.
Do you like Mandalorian?
I like the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
Like the
we're
prequel?
talking-
Did you like the prequels?
I did not know.
I did not either.
I didn't either.
No,
I fell asleep during the first one. It was terrible.
I agree.
Like I said, there are 3 movies,
Oh, okay. I'm with
4 movies, technically.
4, huh?
4 movies, Rogue One. Then you throw in the Mandalorian, and I like a lot of the Clone Wars
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But past that, there are a lot of Star Wars things that I felt like I watched because I was obligated to.
I get that.
Just
And-
to follow the plot, or so
No, because it's Star
just
Wars.
because you're a fan.
Yeah.
Because you
And
want to
I
be up
liked
to
the
times
last
with it.
3 movies.
Yeah.
I liked them quite a bit.
Have you heard there's plans to completely wipe them off the slate?
Not a fan of that because I think there's room in everything for the Star Wars expanded universe, which might
Agreed.
be the nerdiest thing that I say on this podcast.
I was just
I
thinking,
hope
man.
it is.
I
So
hope
far
that
it
is.
is.
God, I hope
See, I thought Force Awakens was good. I didn't like the second
that
one
tally.
I liked it.
with
I
Mary
liked
Poppins in space. I did not like that shit.
I liked
There was too much to it.
I like the
it was a long
homage to
movie.
Leia.
They
Yes.
could have edited that.
I like what they did.
They
I
could have
like-
edited
I
that
like
son of a
the
bitch
thought.
down. But the
Oh,
third
they
one was
absolutely
good.
could have edited it down.
The third one was a good conclusion to what J.J. Abrams had.
Yep.
I like J.J. Abrams' interpretation.
So then
I
that's
thought
on-
he did a pretty good job.
Is that on Disney or is that on Kathleen Kennedy then for letting
I think that's
Ryan
her.
Johnson do it?
I think that's on her.
Because her contract comes up next year
Yeah.
and they are not renewing it.
Good, they should.
So next year we will have, for the first time ever, Disney will have complete control over Star Wars.
And did you notice she had nothing to do with the Mandalorian?
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
And
There'll be
look
no.
how
I
good
was gonna
that
say
show
there'll
is.
be no more old guard, so to speak.
Like Star
left.
Wars was like growing up for us. It was always dirty and dark, like
But
grimy
was
look,
it?
like-
Because I watched B. Arthur singing in a in a Star Wars Christmas special.
Yeah, but that doesn't count. That was
But it does.
That was a
Did you have
network
that
show,
on
man.
VHS as a child or something?
No, I'm just saying.
that was a
as a
network
kid,
show.
that was pumped out. Like,
Yeah.
I remember it being on TV. I
See,
remember watching it.
If
I
we're
don't
talking
remember
the
it being
89 Ewoks animated,
right. I don't remember it then being B. Arthur like I do
Like,
now.
no one's gonna go into that being like, "This is gonna be
And
awesome."
by the way, I hated that fucking Ewok animated shit.
was
And I
horrible.
watched
Yeah.
that. I
it was
loved
horrible.
it.
Carrie Fisher's
I
all
tried
coked out.
so hard.
Yeah, she sure was, dude.
Yeah, you can see her nose bleeding in a couple scenes.
The stories
She was
behind
in space
Blues
for
Brothers are so hilarious
Yeah, that's another
about
one.
all of that. And if you think about how that basically occurs, like in between episodes 3 and 4,
Yeah, because that was right
or
in between
4
there.
and 5,
Mm-hmm.
it's like there was a lot of cocaine
Oh yeah.
going on
Oh,
in
yeah.
Chicago, in the outlying Chicago area at that point in time.
I'm
You're
pretty sure
talking-
that was the greater cocaine belt of
Yes,
the United
cocaine.
States.
You're
Yeah,
talking like
cocaine.
the late 70s, early 80s when these movies were being made.
Well, and wasn't
That's it. It was
Well, it was-
thriving then.
that was
wasn't
the
Carrie
culture.
Fisher in
Yeah.
the Blues Brothers movie?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's what I was just
that's what we're
referencing.
tying
She
that
was like
into,
the
yeah.
A lot of coke going on.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
she was like the manic pixie dream girl
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
of the Blues Brothers movie.
Yeah,
was
they
pretty
loved
hot.
her. Oh, they
Yeah.
loved her.
She's shooting a machine gun in a sewer at one
Right.
point,
Yeah.
and it's like, how
Yeah.
hot is that?
Yeah.
That's super hot. And then you turn around and look at her at the Roseanne roast, and you're like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah,
She
or
was
in
in,
30 Rock.
Oh,
30
she was
Rock.
great in 30 Rock, though.
30 Rock, that was
That wasn't my Princess Leia. I'm sorry.
never follow a hippie to a second location, Lemon.
But she was badass.
She was in Something About Mary.
Yes.
No, it's not Something About Mary.
No, she was in, was she in Something About
When
Mary?
Harry
No.
Met Sally. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
Mary
Yes.
Sally, yeah.
What the hell was I
Well,
thinking?
she was in, I mean, if we're going stoner flick, she was in Jay and Silent Bob Strike
Oh,
Back.
she was. Yeah.
With the
She was-
cinnamon buns.
Right, she was the nun that was gonna give him a lift, and she's like, "What? You the rules of the road?" And Jay thought it was like, "Well, you're supposed to go down on her."
And he tries it, and she is not having it.
She slaps him. Yeah, they throws him out, speeding
As
down the
Carrie
road.
Fisher would not have it.
Didn't even slow down for those little punkers.
No.
I've never seen those movies.
Oh my god, man!
You would think that I had seen those movies, wouldn't you? The Jay and Silent Bob movies.
I would think you'd seen Jay and Silent Bob.
Those don't like hit the
Right.
same
Yeah.
at this point in time.
You're right.
Kind of had to be into it
Anybody
at the time.
seen the reboot?
No.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Is it really?
Yep.
Is it the same
That-
dudes?
no, so it's the same guys. Jason Mewes.
Uh-huh.
You've got them all.
Was Kevin? What's the guy's name?
Kevin Smith.
Is
Was
Ben
he?
Affleck
Was he?
in it?
He was in those too, right?
Yeah, Affleck's in
Is
it.
he?
Oh wow.
Affleck's
Jason
like,
Lee?
Yep, Jason Lee. They do the.
Dogma was cool.
Dogma
Yeah,
was a cool
Dogma was
movie.
great.
I like Dogma.
I liked Mallrats quite a bit.
Loved
Mallrats
Mallrats.
was good.
Chasing Amy was
Kind of weird.
kind of questionable. Clerks was revelatory
Mhm.
at the point that I
right.
saw it. And that was that weird, like, early to mid 90s cinema revolution that we
Yeah.
all kind of had.
He had like Empire Records and other movies
But
like
that-
that.
there's
Pulp
like-
before
Fiction,
that.
Reservoir Dogs.
There's a
Those
huge-
of us of like a certain age.
Yeah.
There's a huge cult for that movie.
For which one?
There is.
Yeah, there absolutely is.
For which
I
one?
remember the first time for
Clerks.
Clerks. The
For
first
Clerks.
time I
Yeah,
saw
oh, yeah.
Clerks, a buddy of mine was like, "Have you seen this movie?" And I'm like, "I don't even know what it is." He pops it in. It was, maybe 6-7 months after it commercially came
Yeah.
out, and I'm blown away. This is the best black and white movie I've ever seen in my life.
Isn't it
And it's
funny?
so 90s, man.
Yeah.
Like it epitomizes
The chick
time.
having sex with the dead guy in the back.
And it
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
wear
it
well.
was-
it
I don't think a lot of them wear well.
No.
It holds up still.
There are some areas that it holds up quite well,
Right.
but there are some areas where it's like,
Eh.
oh shit,
Yeah.
really?
Fuck
like-
you, Steve Dave.
Yeah.
Clerks 2, he's like, I'm bringing this back. I'm like,
Right.
no, we're not.
No, I didn't need Clerks 2. I
Clerks
didn't.
2 was all right.
That wasn't that good.
It was
wasn't-
alright.
It was.
I didn't need
that wasn't
a
that-
sequel to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Right.
I didn't need a reboot of Jay and Silent
Yeah.
Bob Strike Back.
But I think after you watch it, you're going to say to yourself, you know what? I still don't need that.
Scott, that covers so much of my life. I really didn't need that.
That's everything, I think, right there. You know
Yeah.
what?
That's how I feel about 2020.
Yeah.
I probably don't need that, but I did it anyway.
If you guys are looking for anything new to watch, I just got done watching What We Do in the Shadows.
That's excellent.
It's on Hulu.
I love that.
I saw both seasons already.
You've
John.
watched the movie.
No, he
Have you seen
probably
the
has
movie?
not.
No, I haven't seen the movie.
Yeah, it's based on the movie
It was a New
And it-
Zealand movie, actually.
Jermaine Clement.
Really?
Yep. And of course, old dude from the Flight of the Conchords.
So they took it and they made it
Yes.
into a
The
television
guy with
series.
the pompadour, the hair.
Yes.
Can't think of his name.
No, Jermaine Clement is the guy's name. I was thinking of Taika Waititi.
Yes. That's what
They
I was trying to
directed
think.
it.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I was trying to think of. Didn't he?
I think it's on.
Ragnarok.
I think it was on
Amazing movie.
FX, and I didn't know about it.
It was
No,
a total
it's-
movie. That
And
It's
my
a great show.
And my
Yeah,
brother-in-law
it's
Caleb told
great.
me about it. And I'm like, yeah, I'll check it out.
Well,
And it's like it's the funniest goddamn thing ever.
and it's like taking the piss out of vampires.
it's got to be so accurate
Is-
too.
Guillermo.
What is it? Why are people so fascinated with vampires? I wonder.
Same reason why people are fascinated with monsters
And witches and stuff.
Witches and,
And
all that.
UFOs and
Great show, though.
aliens.
Yeah,
It's an
great show.
amazing show.
It's funny as shit, dude. It's clever. It's
And
very
it's-
clever.
Great cast, great writing staff.
Watch it. Watch it.
Man,
Have you,
I'm assuming.
Have you seen it, Dave?
No.
No, I told him about it all.
So
I wrote it down.
Yeah.
It's
So
on my queue.
imagine it's like a frat house, right? So you've got maybe like 6-7 dudes kind of living in a house. Only these dudes live forever. And there's an angry, pissy old dude living in the basement.
And that frat house is the Deltas from Animal House.
So this is a comedy then.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
yes.
So you'll get like two
Dry.
dudes.
It's
right?
dry.
It's
as,
very
it's
dry.
as hell. Yeah.
You'll get two dudes together and they'll start arguing, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they'll start hissing at each other,
Oh,
and they'll
yeah.
be flying up in the air, and then they'll settle back down and be okay and move on about their business.
All right, I'll have to check.
I think
that out.
Lazarus is it Lazarus.
Yes.
He's my favorite character. On
Is
that.
that the
Yes.
dude in the basement? I don't remember.
No, he's the guy who's like he sucks the
He's like the Nosferatu, right?
he kind of sucks the life out of you or something,
Yeah.
the fun
Yeah.
out of you.
That
And
may
he'll
be
just
in
like talk to you like, hey, this is that, and just pours the shit out of you and you pass away. And he just eats off of that.
yeah.
Yes. Chubby bro.
Yeah.
Where's the best?
He's like, man, you look like Gilbert, dog.
Did you guys watch True Blood back in the day?
I did. That
No.
That was
that
soft porn.
horrified me.
First
No.
couple seasons were good, but then it just got really shitty.
That horrified me.
Interview with a Vampire.
There's a
It's a good
scene
movie.
in that where they're taking V, which in that, like, vampires come out, right? And they've
Yeah.
created synthetic blood so
Yeah.
vampires can be normal. So
Why not
what
to
the
kill
fuck's that
people?
all about?
Yeah.
Stupid.
So anyway, now you get all these supernatural elements that pop out. So these people are taking vampire blood. So somewhere there's a vampire, and he's, he's a big dude that tried to slim down before, but he got turned into a vampire as a fatty. So now he's an eternal fatty, and he's ugly. He's me, basically, as a vampire, just sitting there sad all the time, shoving his fucking face with Hostess ding-dongs because he can't get any fatter.
Right.
Right.
And the vampire blood makes humans get high.
Right, and they get high. Well, one of them decides to he got like sex on it or something, right?
Yeah,
and it gives him like a boner for like 4 or 5 hours. And they're like, dude, you did V, really? And there's a whole graphic scene in that
Yeah,
where they
that's
have to
a-
drain the douche.
That's
Jesus.
Suki's brother, I
Right.
think. Yeah.
What?
yeah.
And it horrified me.
Snooki?
I stopped
you
watching
said?
Suki.
that.
Oh,
Suki.
So the lead,
Thank God.
the
I
lead
was
in
like,
that
how
is
the hell did
Suki.
Snooki get on that thing?
Suki
I know, right?
Stackhouse.
Suki
That's,
Stackhouse.
that's her brother Jason.
She got
Jason
a-
Stackhouse.
Did your wifey? Did you
Oh yeah, we
also-
watched that. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure my daughter was conceived after watching a couple
me
of
and
those
my wifey
episodes.
watched
That's
that
like,
show.
yeah.
JP put his head down. Hey man, I'm not feral.
If you have a vampire boner for more than 4 hours, consult your dark physician.
And he will stick a needle in your wang and drain it off.
Talk about vampires. Let's talk about some vampire movies. Interview with a Vampire, Brad Pitt. What do you think about that one?
Was that a lesson in homoerotica?
Maybe.
Because I feel like that was Anne Rice's like wet dream right there. Oh, Brad Pitt. And that guy.
One vampire movie that scared the shit out of me was Bram Stoker's. Was it Bram Stoker's?
Was it
Bram Stoker's.
the original
Yeah,
black
that
and white?
shit? It was the one that came out in the 90s.
Yes,
Yeah.
with Gary Oldman
That-
and Winona Ryder.
Dude, I saw that at the movie
Keanu
theater.
Reeves with the
Yes.
worst British accent
Oh my
on
God,
the
yeah.
fucking
as
planet.
Jonathan Harkness.
But there were some parts in that movie.
Harkness.
where,
I know my Stoker, damn it.
I could feel the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
That was a good one. Gary Oldham,
That was some
though.
scary shit.
You know, one day we're all going to just like look in the mirror and fucking realize we're Gary Oldham. Damn, that guy's a good actor.
Is that the dude
Gary
that played
Oldman.
Dracula in that movie?
Ham
That really
Oldman.
creepy looking old
Yeah,
dude?
yeah.
man.
He had like
Man.
he had the
I'd rather
buns
have
going
old
on.
hand than old
I
man.
remember it well. I can still remember what he
That
looked
movie
Well,
was
like the,
freaky, man.
The suit they put on him as Dracula that looked
the
like
big
muscle
bat?
on the exterior.
Oh yeah.
Creepy.
That was one of the creepiest goddamn things. And Tom
Yes.
Waits as Renfield
Yeah, dude.
is incredibly creepy.
That was perfect.
And I'm not even a Tom Waits guy.
I was after that.
Yeah.
I like Christmas Card from a Hooker in Minneapolis, and after that, and the way down in the hole, the theme from The Wire.
Yeah, that's a good one.
As a white hipster. But after that, I'm kind of like done with Tom Waits.
Yeah.
Except for Bram Stoker.
Yeah, he was great in that.
That scared the shit out of me, man.
No, it scared the shit out of me too. And I mean, if that was 1993,
I was going to say we were right at that age.
I was 15, 16.
Yeah, I would have been about 14. No, I would have been about that age. I'm
Okay,
thinking-
I would have been 13.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, I'm thinking I was a lot younger than that.
Yeah, you're older
I was
than
thinking,
am.
I was thinking
Thank
about,
God.
yeah, I was thinking about 13, 14, maybe 15, maybe 15.
You guys want to watch a scary movie?
This is how scary movies start,
Exactly.
On Netflix. I think I
Oh
told
God,
you.
this is a
right? This.
So hey,
do it.
so hey, you guys want to watch a scary movie?
Yeah. Sure, Dave.
Sure, Dave.
Tell
What
us.
are you talking about, Dave?
Tell me the scary movie.
So probably the scariest movie I've ever seen is a documentary. I think I've told you guys about it. It's the one called The Nightmare. It's about sleep paralysis.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Can I find that somewhere?
It's on Netflix.
Still.
You ever had that?
See, I looked on Netflix and it's not there anymore. Yeah.
So we talked about
Yeah,
that
I've had
before.
it, yeah.
Dave told a story about sleep paralysis, and I kind of told one of mine too. Have you ever had sleep paralysis?
It's been, it's never been anything consistent.
That's been
But-
my experience.
You know,
I've
it's
had it
one
once.
of those things that pops up every now and then.
Really?
Whenever it happens, do you get like a sense of doom? Does it, or describe what happens?
Dave, I have a general sense of doom. It's more of just a.
Is it gloomy or doom?
It's a paralysis and a fear of immediate death.
Yeah, it's terrifying. It's very
Do you
terrifying.
see anything in it?
Not rationally, no.
No.
Because you've
Okay,
gotta
so what
consider-
about
You've got to consider
irrationally?
the state that you're typically in at the point where you're in sleep paralysis.
You're in a state right between sleep and wake.
Yeah, you're not. Totally
You're not
100%
100% firing on all cylinders.
No, so in retrospect, you always have to rationalize what kind of things happen to you when you're asleep.
Well, the scientific explanation is that your brain is in REM sleep
Yeah,
mode,
REM mode.
but your physical body wakes
Yeah.
up. But when you're in REM sleep mode, your body paralyzes itself so
Yes.
that you don't act out your dreams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you heard it? Have you heard about these experiences that people have with sleep paralysis where they encounter these like shadow beings? Have you ever heard
Yeah.
of that? Yeah.
Have you had that experience where
I've
you've
never
seen
had
someone?
that experience, but I know that that's like the basis of like incubi and succubi.
Right,
and
right.
things
Yeah.
of that nature.
Yeah. I've had it happen to me one
Okay.
time. Yeah. It was fucking terrifying, dude.
Really?
Yeah, and at that point in my life, man, I was very much an atheist. I had like no room in my brain to explain what the fuck happened to me.
Yeah.
So did that change your religious views then?
It was like the spark that triggered me to
because
kinda-
Dave now plays in a church band, and I mean honestly, I don't see you doing that. But
Well, they
if
pay
you
me.
enjoy it,
They pay me. Jesus pays,
well,
dude.
the Lord does supply. I mean,
Without getting too deep into it, I'm not like a traditional Christian or anything.
so you're there for the cash? You're not there for the word?
you don't have to. I mean, you know, you believe what you believe.
Yeah, no, I get it,
absolutely.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no.
No, I just
And I'm not trying to shame you for your belief
no,
or
I know.
why you're playing
No, I know.
at all.
No.
I'm just curious.
I'm a weirdo deist
Oh, dude.
kind of
So, dude, like I used
everything
to,
applies to everything.
I used to go to like the Buddhist church and meditate. Like I'm very open to all that stuff. So I'm not like with me. So I no longer consider myself to be an atheist anymore. Like I definitely believe that.
I was there at one time too. I think I was an atheist at one point.
But now, I don't subscribe to like any one like religious belief either. But I'm pretty well convinced that like after we die, our consciousness keeps going because there's a shit ton of evidence for it.
I like to think that I'm religiously unaffiliated.
Which is fine, dude. So you want to know, like, one of the most common things that happens to people when they have near-death experiences? Of course, that you hear, like, the white light and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
Almost always in these near-death experiences, the person is greeted by somebody.
Someone they know.
And if they're a Christian, it's usually Jesus. If they're an atheist, it's probably, like, their mom or somebody from their life that was important. So, and people all over the world report this shit, and it's all kind of tailored to their belief system.
But there are atheists who had that near-death experience.
Yeah.
And then they come back from it and they're like, I believe in
Absolutely, dude. My parents had a friend that had one, and actually, before the experience...
That scenario?
Yeah. So before that experience, this friend of my parents that had the near-death experience was like a churchgoer. After he had that experience, he totally quit going to church. He was convinced that was a bunch of crap.
Wow.
But he remained very spiritual. Like he definitely believed that the experience that he had was real. He just didn't like buy what they were selling at his local church.
Wow.
Well, yeah, and I think a large part of that is when we're in that situation, the first thing that our brain is going to go to is probably a source of comfort.
Yeah, I get it.
Whether that would be, our thoughts about whomever.
Yeah, somebody that was important in our lives.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Whether it is Jesus Christ or our mom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People report all kinds of different things, but they almost all report seeing somebody.
Or even in the state of mind that you're at when you're going into that.
You mentioned DMT earlier. That's what happens when you die, man. Your brain shoots out a bunch of
endorphins and
feel that you're seeing hell.
DMT,
is that maybe the state of mind that you were in?
Yeah.
When you were going into this death or near-death situation.
Sure.
I'm a firm believer that hell and heaven is what you make it on the way out.
I tend to agree with that.
You put yourself in heaven or you put yourself in hell.
I think the ultimate question of humanity is personal responsibility.
You're given...
And we derive our own path.
I think you take whatever you have with you. And if you have a lot of anger, then you're going to be an angry.
Right. You're going to
have this angry entity or angry energy that you're going to be. Now, if you loved and you knew how to love things more than yourself, then you're going to take that with you, man.
Yeah. And here's the other thing that's kind of freaky, man. People also report like hellish experiences when they have near-death experiences. It's not always heavenly shit.
Right, and that's what I was kind of going towards with the negativity.
Yeah.
It's
you get some bad shit.
Yeah. So I haven't studied the negative experiences. It seems like they're much more rare than positive experiences, but it does happen.
I think it's only because you don't want to talk about that.
Well, I think the negative ones don't sell.
Right.
Well, fuck, I'd buy a book.
There's something to that.
Absolutely.
You're 100% right.
But is everybody going to buy?
Right. People want hope. They don't want to be told, hey, you might
I don't
go
mean
hell.
to, cast shade on something that was written about a kid, but, like the Colton Burpo stuff.
Right. But still.
What's that? I don't know that.
He was a kid that allegedly saw heaven.
Oh, okay.
That's the kid that came back and then wrote they wrote the book, Heaven is for Real.
Oh, okay. I
His
know that
dad
book.
wrote the book for him, and he's
Down
recanted
syndrome, is that
later
right?
on. No.
No? I always think that.
And he recanted later on.
Did he? Interesting.
Saying this was something that was pulled out of me by my parents.
Oh.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, man, you got to be really careful when it comes to religious stuff, man, because people don't always have the best intentions.
No.
That's for sure.
No. And it's
deep down at its core, I think religion is a means of control.
I don't disagree at all.
I mean, being a fan of mythology and the Catholic religion came about because a group of government officials decided I need a way. I have a group of people who believe differently than what my core people believe. So we need to get together because there's more of them than there is of us now.
Yeah.
I think a good way to look at it is this is a method of survival for our society.
Right.
Yes and no.
It's the Patton Oswalt sky cake, sky pie kind of thing in a way. But like the Old Testament specifically.
Oh, well.
Like the Old Testament specifically is a great set of rules to survive in the desert.
Yes. See that bush? Don't touch it.
And but it's an angry God.
Mm-hmm.
I have a theory about the bush. It's not my theory. Other people have a theory about the bush.
And the New Testament is a modified version.
Because God got a lot nicer.
It's more user
He absolutely did.
Right?
He absolutely did, because you're out of the desert.
Mm-hmm.
You're out of, you can, regardless of what Leviticus says, be shrimp again.
You know, you're absolutely right.
And when you get into the Quran, it's even, a little bit further out of that.
The Quran is just weird. Have you read the Quran?
Yes.
I've read parts of the Quran. I haven't gotten all the way through it.
The strongest part of that book is when somebody asks Muhammad, so can I punch the guy that punches me in church? He's like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, why not? I mean, he's being
And
a
however
dick.
you determine how that verse is written is up to you.
Interesting. So people interpret that differently.
Yeah.
So so you've read the entire Quran?
Yeah.
So what's your interpretation as far as people using it as an excuse for violence? Did you read it as an excuse for violence?
I did not.
Anyone will use anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
For violence.
Exactly.
It is in our nature to destroy ourselves,
Absolutely.
man.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do it no matter what.
Human beings are electrically powered meat machines.
We're a virus
that are frequently bent on destruction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're a virus.
I mean, if you really look at it, we kind of are a virus compared to everything else on the planet.
Because everything else lives in harmony, right? People come along. We can't live over there. We have to cut a tree down to make a house.
Too smart for our own good.
Right.
We're the only ones
But
that destroy our
we're
environment.
the only animal or the only organism that's autonomous, that moves around, that doesn't have a means to defend ourselves. We don't have claws. I don't have a spike shooting out my back, so nothing can run around. I have a giant fucking brain.
Yep.
And I can think my way out of things. Because back in the day, you'd have a saber-toothed tiger that would come in and just decimate everything, right? Then man showed up, so the tiger would come in, still tear everything up, and 20 minutes down the way, the tiger's cool, he's, but here comes man. And then they attack the tiger, and tiger runs away some more, and tiger's done. At this point, he's good, he's in the free. 20 minutes later, here comes another dude. We just keep coming and chipping away at him until we get it. And now there's way too many of us doing just that.
Yeah, it's scary, man.
Man, I've said it before, like, as a whole, mankind right now is only in our adolescence. Like, we're just now getting to the age of 13 where we can, look above the counter and maybe buy the smokes for our parents. If this was the 50s.
We're much more technologically advanced.
We are, but we don't know how to
mentally.
use it now.
Right.
As a species, as a whole, we don't know how to live in harmony with the world. We're just tearing it up.
No, Homo sapiens have been around for 100,000 years.
Long time.
Give or take, yeah.
Think about how the
if we're
the
talking
first
about
post-Australopithecus afarensis
right
hominids we've got a very short space of time versus the time of hominids, post-ape hominids in general.
But if you also look at it, that's a different timeline too, because at that time, at that age in the world, there was multiple versions of people. So you would have several different people species
different
running around.
Hominids. Yeah.
One of the
Different
hilarious
sapiens,
parts of evolution is that Homo sapiens came out as the top.
Right. We can't be the top.
No, we are just a bunch of...
We're just scraping by at this point.
We beat the odds, man.
We're just...
We did that.
We're just that
We beat
rat
the
at
odds.
the sinking ship that made it.
We did it.
We got off that ship, got on the Patagonia,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
reproduced enough.
Because that's what we do.
Yep.
You know what, man? I may not be able to do much, but
do it soon. We've got like
kids.
7 to 9 months. This is kind of viable.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah. 7 to 9.
And the reason why we did it is because we have a brain that
well,
we
that's
can
just
critically
it.
think things.
A big brain with a bunch of folds in it.
Right, yeah.
Right.
It's true.
And well, our ancestors, so you would have had others that were giants. They would have needed more carbs and more fuel to keep moving. They would have burnt out. You would have had Neanderthals, however you want to say it. You would have had those guys who they were maybe not the smartest guys, but they knew how to get shit done.
But there's still a bunch of people like that.
And there's now, as a result, like we interbred with them. And there's like 5% of the population now, like 5 to 6% of the population. If you're from Asia, Asia Minor, Europe, what is it? And I think the Icelandic continents, then you have that DNA in you. All of us have Neanderthal DNA in it.
I had one of those DNA tests.
Oh?
Uh-huh.
And I am that bitch. But actually, no.
65%? Damn.
I'm one of the rare people that doesn't have that.
Really?
Yeah. Which was kind of weird.
Where the hell are you from?
Yeah.
Strictly Europe.
Me too.
Wow.
Strictly and completely. Which is this weird thing because I kind of like chuckle to myself, how many white supremacists would love to have this?
Oh, no kid.
And it's like,
John, I know what you are, dude.
have fun, buddies.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
John's a humanoid.
The Bobby Heenan humanoid or some kind of.
I hate
Hey,
your
why
pants.
not? I just watched that the other night.
Grandma's boy.
So how much are clothes in the Matrix, JP?
Damn, Dante, your ass is
don't-
tanner than my
Your
face.
ass is tanner than my face.
I'm not
man.
that JP. That is like another alternate dimension.
I love that cat though.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck you.
I hate you.
Anyway,
I mean-
so let's end the show right now on this up note. So if you find value in our show and you would like to sponsor us, please feel free to reach out. Go to patreon.com/ Anybody?
The Old 77 podcast.
Sorry, I fell asleep there for a
The
second.
new guy was even gonna do it.
I was looking for my sheet.
John's
JP
gonna
is
contribute,
on
man.
it, man.
I was looking for
Absolutely.
my sheet, but I remembered it right. Patreon.com.
Patreon.com/ the Old 77 podcast.
And you can email us at theold77podcast.com.
Or you can call the listener line at 573-246-0779. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you later.
Adioski.
All right. That was the Old 77. It's a safe place in an unsafe world.